Today, we're doing something a bit different, just one source. But it's a really potent one, a historical observation that I think cuts right through a lot of modern complexity, especially around making decisions. Here's the statement we're dissecting. More is lost by indecision than wrong decision.
Ah, yes, and the source makes it even more powerful. We're talking Marcus Tullius Cicero, the Roman statesman,
Yeah.
lawyer. This wasn't just theory for him. He was dealing with the high stakes of running an empire.
Right, an empire.
And what he does here is frame loss in a really interesting way. He's saying, essentially, that not all losses are equal. There's a fundamental difference.
Okay, unpack that for us. I mean, loss feels like loss, right? How is losing because you didn't act different from losing because you, well, messed up?
It comes down to visibility, really, and compounding effects. See, when you make a wrong decision, the loss is usually tangible. You can point to it.
Like a failed product launch
Ah.
or losing a client.
Exactly. It's measurable. There's a setback, sure, but you can analyze it. You learn something. You get data, even if it's painful data.
Right, an expensive lesson maybe, but still a lesson.
Precisely. But the loss from indecision, that's sneakier. It's often invisible, at least at first. It's the opportunity cost. It's the momentum that just evaporates. It's the time you've burned, and you can absolutely never get that back. So indecision, it's a cost that grows silently. Standing still isn't free. It's actively costing you, and that cost compounds. It's permanent.
And that really hits home today, doesn't it? Because we're sort of trained to optimize everything, to analyze, to wait for perfect information before we commit.
We are. There's huge pressure to avoid mistakes.
Yeah, to get it 100% right. But Cicero seems to be saying that chase for perfection might actually guarantee a bigger loss than just, trying something and maybe getting it partly wrong.
That's exactly his point, I think. Let's take a modern example, like a tech startup. Say they delay launching their minimum viable product, their MVP, for 6 months because they want more features, maybe perfect parity with a competitor.
Okay.
That delay, it's not just 6 months of potentially lost revenue. That's the obvious bit. It's 6 months of zero market feedback, zero customer interaction data, 6 months where competitors might have gained ground. The hidden damage from not acting often dwarfs the cost of launching something imperfect and iterating.
Okay, that makes sense for, let's say, incremental things, product launches, business decisions. But let me play devil's advocate for a moment. What about really big, potentially catastrophic decisions? Things with huge, irreversible consequences.
Sure.
Like building a nuclear plant in the wrong place, or historically maybe a disastrous military campaign. Isn't waiting sometimes absolutely the right call to avoid utter ruin? Where's the line?
That's a fair challenge. And it's important. Cicero isn't arguing for being reckless. He's not saying just leap without looking. He's arguing against paralysis. His point seems aimed at situations where you have enough information to make a reasonable choice, but you're frozen. Frozen by fear of maybe a 10% chance of failure.
Oh, okay.
By freezing, you accept the 100% certainty of stagnation, of losing time. He believed, I think, that most vital decisions involve imperfect information anyway. You rarely get certainty. So his focus is on the leader who can act but won't, paralyzed by the what-ifs. He'd likely argue that history's biggest failures often stem from waiting too long, not from occasional missteps while trying to move forward.
So it's less about the outcome of a single decision and more about momentum, about the state of acting versus not acting.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. He champions a bias toward action. Making a move, any move, gives you feedback. It teaches you something. Even a wrong decision yields information, which is valuable.
Information is currency, yeah.
Exactly. Waiting for absolute certainty. You gain nothing, you learn nothing, and the clock is always, always ticking. The bottom line is you have to be willing to, launch the ship, even if you might need to patch a leak later.
Wow. Okay, so we're nearing the end of this deep dive, and it's striking how this wisdom from, 2,000 years ago feels so relevant.
It really does.
To recap Cicero's point then, wrong decisions often give you data, lessons. They're usually fixable or at least learnable. But indecision, that costs you time permanently, and time is the one thing you can't make more of.
Well said. Stagnation is often more damaging than effort, even if that effort is initially misplaced. Action creates learning. Inaction creates nothing but lost time.
So here's the final thought we want to leave you with, drawing directly from Cicero. If wrong decisions are often fixable, but indecision means losing time forever, ask yourself this. What one thing right now are you postponing? What are you holding back on? Just waiting for that elusive 100% certainty, because that point of delay, that might be where you're actually losing the most.
Yeah.
Something to think about today.
If anxiety has ever kept you up at night, if you've ever felt like your mind just won't slow down, or that worry is running the show, you're not alone. That's exactly why we created Mind Cove. It's a science-based app designed by a psychologist with over 16 years of experience to help you understand, manage, and finally move past your anxiety, one small step at a time. No fluff, no quick fixes, just practical tools, guided exercises, and a calm space to get your mind back on your side. Download Mind Cove today on the App Store and start building a life that feels lighter, clearer, and more in your control.